Hey there, guys, and welcome back to the Morehammer podcast, your bi-weekly Warhammer podcast where we talk all good things about the hobby. And it's the three of us back this week to give you more joy. We've got the usual, hobby updates. We've got the reveals from the last couple of weeks, or the last. Obviously, I've got a lot of catching up to do, guys. Being back this time. And of course, we're going to catch up on a ton of community questions from you guys as well this week. But as always, I am joined by, at the top here this week, Simon, aka Hobby Waffle. How are we doing, bud?
I'm very good, thank you.
Awesome.
Well,
and as always,
welcome back.
Ben, 90% Geek, bringing back the Benergy. How are we doing, pal?
I'm doing good. I'm doing better than you by the sound of things. You sound like you're full of a cold.
I am sorry, guys, if anybody is probably purely listening on Spotify. I'm a bit snivelly and full of it, but I'm waiting upon a sneeze actually as we're recording, so we'll see how that goes. So if you hear a cheer at some point,
put it in the comments below what timestamp you think Luke will finally sneeze.
Yeah,
maybe
it's
we'll
coming.
like a prize to whoever gets closest.
Yeah, he spent 5 minutes before we started recording trying to force a sneeze out. It's one of them where it's almost about to sneeze and then just goes, "Nah, I'm not ready yet." Really annoying.
It will come. Other than that, guys, as always, we're recording for you every other week on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe to us here and leave those all important comments down below. And obviously, we're doing lots of community questions today. Make sure to leave us questions, yummy questions to answering topics to get into for the next episodes, and we'll get to those for you. But as always, you can listen to us over on Spotify as well, of course. Follow us there. But otherwise, please do, most of all, to be honest, because it's actually one of my favourite things about this community, is our Discord channel. So down in the link in the description, guys. Jump over to our Discord. I'll try to remember to put it in the comments this week as well. And join in the chat in between, especially when we get like the big reveal days like we did for LVO the other week. It's great because it just pops off and we're all chatting nerdy things Warhammer. So we'd love to see you guys over there too. But we've got a lot of catching up to do, of course, as always, on some fun hobby updates, what we've been up to. And it looks like everybody's been quite busy, to be fair.
Yeah.
And as always, it's whoever gets the pictures in first to me for the visuals, which, Ben, it was you today. So I've got yours up first, bud. So
first in the comments section.
You can start off with whatever you've been up to. I'll get it up quickly here.
Yeah, sure. Let's see I'll see what picture you throw up first, and I'll start
I'll
talking through what we've got.
There we go.
Okay, so first up, I am still thoroughly in the Necromunda vein. I decided to build myself a Necromunda Spira warband, because I've been lusting after these models since they came out. What you can see on the screen at the moment is my Hunt Leader. It's a slight conversion from the model that comes in the starter set. I've gone for a Yeld-style las pistol on the right arm, but the left arm going with a Malkadon Toxin Whip, which I've converted using one of the kind of Lash Whip Agonizer type things from the Dark Eldar sprue.
Nice.
To kind of playing into that. Interestingly, when I was picking which Lash Whip to use, I picked this one because it is exactly... Oh, no, it was a cough, not a sneeze. We thought it was going to be a sneeze there for a minute, but it was a cough, not a sneeze. The Lash Whip is exactly 2 inches long, which is the range of a Toxin Whip. So if the whip reaches the enemy model, they are in range, which I thought was quite cool. That's why I picked that one. Then I've got the, just coming into focus there, the, wow, my brain's just died. Big stompy
Horus.
dude. Horus, yes, thank you. The Horus, no changes to the main kit here. It's just exactly as is, but from bolt launchers and power fists for tons of fire and damage potential. Then next up, the Jakara. Again, just going with the mirror sword, mirror shield, and the monomolecular sword. The Malgador, I really love. I think this is one of my favorite models that they did on this. I think this is just such a cool one. I did a slight head swap on this to give it kind of more of an insectile, bug-eyed look.
It's all the spider villains.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's kind of what I'm thinking in terms of color scheme for the final one here. Cool. Which is, this is my conversion on the Yeld. So the Yeld, I've gone for the missile gauntlet options because they've got the longer range. They've got the 30-inch range. And I thought for someone who's going to be kind of flying up high and kind of shooting at people from up on high up gantries, you want something that's got a longer range. And Yeld already has pretty much the maximum ballistic skill. It's hitting on 2s and shooting. so it doesn't really need the +1 at short range that you get with the las gauntlets, whereas the kind of Spire Hunt Leader does, I think. So I've converted these missile gauntlets out of arc rifles from the Adeptus Mechanicus kit to give them kind of a kind of chambered ammo hopper on the back of the hand, and then the kind of little spiky nozzle bit on the arc rifles becomes kind of the missile poking out the front. So I'm really chuffed with how that's come out. I can't wait to slap some paint on these. But that's not the only Necromunda stuff I've been doing. Let's see if Luke can cue up the next picture. I also got a game of Necromunda in, and this is against my friend Michael, who's on Funkadrom. Shout out to him over on our Discord, my regular opponent for battle report videos and so forth. He'd never played Necromunda before, and I love Necromunda, so it seemed like the ideal opportunity to get a game in. So I rapidly painted. I wish I'd taken some photos of them. I haven't, unfortunately, taken any close-ups. I rapidly painted my Escher and Goliath gangs that I've had since pretty much this edition of Necromunda relaunched back. You believe it was 7 years ago that this came out? Necromunda has been back for 7 years. I can't believe it.
I love how you can nonchalantly, I can't even say it. You can so easily just say, I just quickly painted my Escher and Goliath gang.
Just through
a 1 year project for me.
Well, to be fair, it's a 7-year project for me because they've been basically sat waiting since I bought the box set 7 years ago to be painted. But yeah, I quickly threw those out and put together a couple of 1,000 cred gangs, and we just played a really kind of quick, simple setup on a 3x3 using my Necromunda scenery. I need to get a load of this painted. It's one of my projects for this year.
With your Necromunda then, Ben, so are you doing, is Mike and you both going to be doing this campaign, you said? Is that still the plan?
I'd like to, yeah. I mean, I've said to him, he hasn't got a gang yet. I'm kind of... This is looking at you pointedly, Michael, when you're listening to this podcast tomorrow.
We'll all look at him through the camera.
Yeah, we'll all just say, come on, Michael, hurry up. I mean, I've got plenty of gangs that I could lend to him, but I'd really like to kind of try and run this Necromunda campaign this year and get Michael involved, get some of my other kind of Necromunda buddies involved, and maybe make it kind of a once-a-month thing, getting a game in. So we've got a game of Necromunda in January. Got to try and get a game of Necromunda now in February.
Get
maybe with
in a bit.
Well, yeah, but maybe with the Spirers as well. I'd love to, or the Mouse Train gang that I've been working on as well. Maybe get the two of them up. Maybe even kind of just film a short video of like the Spirers hunting the Mouse Train or something. That would be quite cool. But we played
the Mouse Train stuff's cool.
Absolutely basic mission, and it was a real kind of nail biter. I mean, I think it came down to at the end, I had one Juve left, and he had his gang leader. I mean, I think we had sort of like 5 or 6 serious injuries each. And I had to very hurriedly rush a couple of my Eschers off to the dock to get them fixed up. It was a real kind of bloodbath of a game, but it was a lot of fun. And that wasn't the only game we got in as well, because just to kind of really take advantage of it, we got a game of Old World in as well. A proper kind of traditional grudge match between Michael's Goblin Horde and my Dwarves. We decided we'd play on a 4x4 rather than 6x4 because we were only playing 1,000 points each. And actually what Michael did was he used basically very much the same kind of force that he used in the White Dwarf rematch battle report. So this is kind of a continuation of Spinny Blackstab's Night Goblin Horde. So there isn't a single orc model in this. It's all goblins, squigs, and trolls and snotlings.
Love it.
And wolves and stuff. There's no orcs in there whatsoever. Whereas I decided since he was bringing purely goblins, I would bring an appropriate force. Yeah. So I basically statted up Joseph Bugman using a Dwarf King with, the new missile weapon runes that they introduced in the Arcane Journal for Dwarves. So I gave him basically it turned his crossbow into a repeater bolt thrower. Like he could fire 2 shots a turn with no penalties at strength 5 that pierced like a bolt thrower. It was awesome. And he was, Joe Bugman just there blasting away with his portable handheld bolt thrower.
It's the weapon upgrades I love so much with fantasy and like the magic stuff you can just end. All of the items you can take in Old World is what makes it for me. Just like you can make stuff so unique.
I love the kind of the crazy kind of almost narrative elements to it. Like, we had stuff like the Night Goblins were led by Spinny Blackstab, and the kind of Goblin Shaman advanced across the hill, got shot a little bit, ran away again. The Mangler Squig, which I think Michael had only finished the day before in particular, he was winning, I think, at this point when he charged it into the side of my Iron Breakers, at which one of his fanatics smashed through it.
Little fanatic.
It is. It's a classic 4th edition fanatic. fanatic than he's actually had since he last played Warhammer back in 4th edition. But yeah, his little fanatic smashed through the Mangler Squig, killed it, and then gave me the victory. And he's like, the goblins were winning until their own fanatic gave me the victory points I needed to win. It was an awesome game. What we're actually thinking of doing for that is we're going to do, because we play quite a bit of Old World, we've got quite a few Old World players down here in Reading. Oh, cat coming through. What we're talking about doing is setting a map up of the Old World and then kind of dividing it up into like a grid of some form and basically just awarding each kind of Old World race a different coloured kind of push pin, and anytime we play a game, whichever army wins gets to add a coloured pin on the map.
Like that, yeah.
But that means that whichever way round, because I mean, I've got an orc army, Michael's got an orc army, I've got a high elf army, Michael's got a high elf army. You know, we've all got kind of a real kind of mix of forces. It means that one week he might be playing as orcs and he adds to their territory. The next week I might be playing as orcs and add stuff to the territory. So yeah, we're kind of thinking about doing that and just updating our own version of the takeover of the Old World by the different forces. So that can be quite good fun to do.
I like that.
That sounds good.
Cool.
But yeah, so that is my hobby updates for this month. I've got
awesome.
loads of stuff built, loads of stuff kind of painted and games. It was a really kind of good January for me, to be honest.
Yeah, we got plenty of time to get into hobby updates and community questions this week. So yeah, more than happy to have a chat about some Old World as always and different bits and bobs. Sai, what have you been up to though, bud? I've got your first one up here. You've been doing some gnome painting, I believe.
Yeah, I painted my murder badger for my Blood Bowl team. So yeah, that's one I've done. I've done the goose as well, but it's not quite finished because, as I was saying to you before we started recording, one of the feet on the goose, the right one, it's got like a sock on it. I didn't realise. I thought it was a ring around its leg. But when I painted it up, I realised it's a sock because the other little tiny chick is stealing the other sock or the shoe or whatever it's supposed to be. So I need to repaint one of the feet. Plus, I'm not happy with its head. But I've done the
Is
murder
it actually
badger.
Called Murder Badger?
No, I've just called it that.
I was really kind of hoping it was.
Yeah, no, murder goose and murder badger, and then I've done the tokens for the gnome team as well. I just need to put a transfer
So
in
sweet.
them. And just tidy up around the flowers at the bottom where.
Just say the two little fried eggs down the front.
Yeah, just tidy them up a little bit. But, yeah, so that's what I've been doing. The goose is done as well. Oh, and then I built the tree man. My second tree man.
This
so
is your second tree man.
Got the gnome tree man, and I built this one as an alternate tree man. And then you can see that vicious little git on his arm as well. I think I've sent you a close up.
Yeah, I'll see if I can grab that one up as well.
Are you planning on running 2 tree men in your gnome team then?
Maybe.
Oof.
You need 2 tree men in a gnome team. There he is. Vicious little get.
Most dangerous player in Blood Bowl.
Yeah, definitely. But you're running an acorn as well, so I don't know if I'm going to do that.
Well, I mean, just pick him up as maybe he can be a grey squirrel or something here to supplant the native species.
Maybe I could do him as a murder skunk.
That would be cool.
To be fair, it was originally kind of meant to be kind of Six Nations rugby team based. It would be quite funny if one of you had like a red and one of you had a grey squirrel.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Yeah, two trees from a gnome team, because from what I've read, anything else is just a killer for gnomes because they don't have one of the particular skills that halflings have, so might be in trouble.
Okay.
Well, we'll see.
Okay, we might let that slide. We'll see. Handicap for the gnome team.
Yep.
No,
I will have a troll, I think. So
you get to hoard with your snotlings anyway. You get to add more.
Yes, I haven't. I've only played one game so far with them, but I do need to get painting them really. But we still need to sort a date really to be able to actually do it. To be honest.
And then I was say, is there like a goblin star player or something with a flamethrower you could bring just to set fire to the tree men?
Sadly not. No, I don't think they really have a star player. Like you can take obviously the other halfling star players, but because we're playing like a mini-person league, it's kind of like
well, there's goblin star players, isn't there?
I might have to take
yeah.
Just for the lols with his fishing rod. I might have to take Rodney Roy.
He is cool.
Yeah, he's cool. He looks fun. But, yeah. Is that it for you then, Sai? Or yeah?
I've done some undercoating on some
on?
Star Wars minis. And then I've been painting the beards on my gnome team as well in different colours. But I've not actually painted them yet. But it's slow progress. It's getting there.
I love painting a good beard. That's for sure.
You haven't got a beard.
No, I said I love painting them. Certainly don't like growing them. No, I can't grow one, let alone painting them. Right.
The way we're stacked at the moment, it gets progressively beardier down the length of the
That's
thing.
true,
Like,
actually.
no
Yeah.
beard, little bit of beard.
We'll have to create some sort of a
beard
meme with
scale.
that. Yeah.
You know what's going to happen on the next podcast now, Ben? He's going to come on with like a fake ZZ Top beard, isn't he?
I really should do that at some point, but I'll do it halfway through an intro, so I'll just slowly put the beard up and just clip it on. I think that's got to be done at some point.
Get myself some Groucho Marx glasses with a full nose and mustache. No, it's another cough. It's still not a sneeze for those who are keeping track.
No, still not there yet. It'll just randomly come in the middle of when I'm speaking. That'll be the problem. Anyway, right. I obviously I've got up to a month's worth of updates, but I'm condensing it for you people, so don't worry. Ironically, even though it's been about a month since I've updated on anything, I've not done a hell of a lot of painting, just a ton of building. Because for anybody who's been keeping track on Discord or on my social media, I've once again committed to doing 1,000 points this year for March for McCrag. And Nick Baton is now knows that I'm doing it, so I've got to commit now.
You're the earliest adopter of March from McCrag this year.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I've got
I
it
saw
all
that.
planned out. Another 1,000 points, led by Marnius Kelgar and his Blade Guard veterans, which I have already built. I'll throw up the picture there. I'm one model short there technically, but it's just such a cool looking unit, and it even unpainted.
So you've got the Victrix Guard there, and then
Yes, yeah.
5 Blade Guard veteran. No,
Yeah,
6.
so Marnius obviously comes in 40k at least anyway with the 2 Victress Guard anyway as part of
He
his
does.
model purchase. And then what it should be is 6 Blade Guard veterans in there, because you can either pay for 3 or 6. So I'm one short on the picture, but he is now also built. So
That's gonna look really cool.
It's gonna look pretty awesome.
That's
when
going
it's
to be
done.
a choppy unit.
I can't yet. Well, and it's also going to be transported by a nice new Land Raider Redeemer.
I was going to say they fit in around Land Raider as well, don't they?
Yeah, so that'll be good fun as well. But yeah, so basically I've been building obviously that 1,000 points and whatnot. So and obviously as you guys know from the last episode I was on, one of my New Year's resolutions was just to kind of bulk out the armies that I've got. So that's part of the process at the moment. But one of the units I think I have painted, this was the very last unit I painted for my Skaven at the beginning of the year, which was the Gisele's unit.
That's so cool.
The I think like 2,300 points of Skaven over like probably 7 months worth of painting. I think I've been going at the Skaven now since Skaventide last year, so that'd probably be about right. So to get this last unit done was just amazing. So it's kind of a nice hobby goal on that one. So that was my only painting done. However, more gaming really, to be honest. We started doing, I think I said last time I was on, Ravaged Coast was coming out for Age of Sigmar, which is the new campaign setting. So our local group is kind of all taking part in that, different armies involved in it. I'm taking the Skaven and Seraphon. We've got a nice mix going on, so I had my first Skaven game in that the other week. Last week, sorry. So that's kind of on its way now.
That is a lot of DACA in that picture. Like that's all the Giselles,
it's
warp, like the different warp weapons.
For an AOS army, it's a nice gun line.
It is
a full-on mass of DACA.
It's not very effective, I'll be honest, Scryer in AOS compared to Old World. Old World, it's much more unpredictable and like crazy. Age of Sigmar, it's still good fun to play, but not very good. It's just more fun really than anything. But this is actually pictures from, I went to an event a couple of weeks ago on the weekend, 3 games in one day for Age of Sigmar at my local club. Had game against Nighthaunt, which I lost sadly, played against Zinch Demons, which I won. And then of course, as always, when you go to one of these game days with a friend, there's like 30 people there, and you end up playing the one friend you came with, even though you play against them all the time. So the last game of the day, we'd both won our second game, so we ended up facing each other. So once again, I was playing against Finn's Stormcast army, which I did lose, sadly, because I just can't beat his Stormcast army with this Skaven list, so... But yeah, no, it was a good fun day, good few games played, and I've gotten lots of use out of this Skaven now, so
Is there anything in particular that Skaven can do to combat Stormcast? Is there like any tactics or anything you've come across that would kind of help you against them?
Mortal wounds, really, in Age of Sigmar. So like with, don't get me wrong, you can make awful scryer lists if you want to. So you could just purely take like the Gatling guns units because they are just filthy. They're like 3d6 shots each model. And I think it's each 6 you roll to hit, you get 2 hits instead of 1. And then all of this is AP1 when it goes through. And when you get your scryer buffs and +1 to hits and stuff, you're on like 3s and 3s as well. So you're thinking about like,
and do that.
Yeah, you could take like 2 units of 6 Gatling guns, and it would just be not nice people to play against. It would be horrific.
Well, so what else do the Skaven have that deal out mortal wounds then?
So mortal wounds, the lightning cannons. They're just pure mortal wounds. And then you've got there's the new unit. I don't actually have them yet. They look quite fun. The lightning arc guys. It's the new ones that came out alongside Skaven Tide. So the new weapons teams. You can either make Gatling guns. The warp fire throwers, which are the old ones you could take, or there's the new warp locks, something or other, lightnings, whatever they're called, and they literally like arc lightning through their cannons and just launch them, and that's all like mortal wounds as well. But yeah, I've always been more of like I'd rather take variety and just have a fun list. That's how I play anyway. So
yeah, I agree.
So yeah, I'm quite more than happy with that, but I will be switching back to the Seraphon again soon, but I do actually have, before we close out hobby updates on Thursday, I'll just keep showing some pictures off of the weekend, but I've got an old world game for the first time in a while on Thursday night, and I'm going to be taking 2,000 points of Skaven. So I think
these
Skaven?
Skaven?
Yeah. So before you said, Ben, with before we
how are you gonna like rank them up?
So the old world Warhammer trays that you can get now. Obviously, you can work out the exact size to what you need. So all the infantry and things like that, all you have to do is basically just get out perfect a square size effectively for your bases to put them all on. It's effectively the same. So that's fine. In terms of like the vehicles and stuff, we're just gonna probably like say it's perfectly fine. Like front arc's pretty easy to see with them, so it'll be fine. But,
when you've done it, share your list in the Discord because I'd be very interested to see what you take.
What I'm taking, yeah. So it's going to be a bit more scryer based again.
Somewhere right now, there's a rules meister going. You can't do that. Somebody's going nuts.
Less of a rules meister and more of just like people who are that obsessed with old world and don't like Sigma and want to see everything on square bases.
I mean, square bases are clearly the best, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if I could afford it, I'd buy all the extra stuff again and put it on square bases as well. But it's just
that means you got to paint it again.
Yeah, there is that. That many rats.
Yeah,
over 100 rats.
Yeah, I'll look forward to playing the first game with Skaven because all the war machines look hilarious in Old World because you've got the Doom Wheel doing random movement and stuff and going through your own guys, and then you've got like the Warp Lightning Cannon can shoot in random directions in a straight line and just tear the map apart. So it's gonna be good fun. But yes, that is effectively pretty much me caught up with hobby updates really, and next time we're on, I'll give an update on how the Old World game went. So we'll look forward to that. Yeah, for sure. But I think we'll move on to what is it time for, Ben?
And now the news.
Lovely stuff. We've got a few reveals to catch up on. Horus Heresy fans are going to be happy. There's been a couple since, so they've been continuing the nice Thursdays, showing off some new bits and bobs. We've got a Secutari Axiarch.
That works as a pronunciation, I reckon.
I have no idea how else you'd pronounce that unless there's some sort of silent word in there.
So this was a bit out of left field, wasn't it? But what a tremendous miniature this is! I love it.
I looked at this and immediately thought Skitari Marshall for 40k as well. That this would work really nicely as an alternative miniature for that.
Effectively, it's literally the leader of like a blade guard for Space Marines, but instead it's for Admech.
Yeah, well, cool. You could take the head and just shave the Mohawk bit off it, and that could easily make a Tech Marine helmet, couldn't it?
Yeah,
that would.
Oh, that's true, actually. Yeah.
Cool. I love how his shield is a piece of salvaged Titan armor, though. That's just mega.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, but these
Very
are
nice
effective.
miniature.
So is it Secutaria supposed to be like the guardians of like the Goblin
The Titan
aren't they?
Legions.
Yeah.
So they're the ones, the Secretary Hoplites, that come with essentially the shock spears that they've had for a while, I think, in the Depths of Mechanicus army for Horus Heresy, but they hadn't had a character version of it before, so this is a kind of a first entry for them.
But that pose, how he's holding the shield, very cool model. And like you said, side of the armor, the whole story behind that's just wicked.
He just looks
But, yeah.
badass, even though it's
Really
still
does.
like skill.
I don't think there's some closer up images there, but yeah, very cool. Yeah, but then we've got moving on, second Horus Heresy mini from the last couple of weeks, the
More tech priest stuff as well.
Magisterium.
Yeah, I wasn't quite as taken by this one.
I looked at this and went, well, okay, that's a Necromunda miniature.
So did I. It's exactly what I
That
did.
would absolutely fit nicely as a bounty hunter in Necromunda.
Yeah. Well, when I opened the article and read through it, and then had to double check that it wasn't Necromunda.
Well, yeah, I saw the picture first because I was scrolling through Instagram, I think it was. I was like, oh, what's this? Is this like Lady Helmar, like a different...
Yeah.
Is it someone else from her retinue or something like that? Is this her tech sister or whatever? And actually, it's Horus Heresy.
Well, from what I've read, this is effectively like add mech, whatchamacallit?
Inquisitor?
Inquisitor.
Yeah, it's like an ad mech
pretty much.
Inquisitor. I mean, it would equally make just a really cool Inquisitor model. I'd probably then take off the kind of grabby arms and maybe do a head swap, but otherwise that would work really nicely as an Inquisitor model.
Yeah, head swap, get the arms off, and then you can still use the little scribe dude, can't you?
Yeah, he'd look really cool as like a member of a retinue.
I'm glad you mentioned the little
He could be like a remembrancer for the Inquisitor.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, definitely. The what is
And
it
then
at the
he
moment
destroyed
with like
the
all the
entire
little
planet. The end.
Yeah, definitely. But what is it with all like the little scribe dudes at the moment? Like we seem to be getting them all over the place with like.
Well, we had Jeff the Smoke Dude. Now clearly there's a competition as to who can make the best little kind of sidekick.
A whole other designer for like Steve the Scribe Man.
Yeah, who can make the best sidekick?
That feather as well. That's come off sort of right big.
We should do that at some point. We should do like a poll or like a recap of all the best sidekick models that they've released in the last 12 months.
I tell you what I do like
awesome
though.
ones.
Her pistol is very, very Star Wars inspired.
Oh, it is actually, yeah.
I like the fact that his quill is actually like his index finger. Like he's basically writing with his finger across the page.
Oh yeah, it's just a decorative feather, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just sticking out through his finger.
Inquisitor Solo.
That's quite cool.
Yeah. No, cool though. Something different again, and more models for Horus Heresy. We move over.
I mean, these
to...
don't have rules either at the moment, so it does suggest at some point there's going to be a book for like the Mechanicum.
Yeah, they haven't put anything on here rules wise, so I assume so. Because we haven't really heard much about that, to be fair, have we? So
yeah, no, but I'm assuming there must be, because this is now 2 Mechanicus, like Loyalist Mechanicus stuff on the trot. I wonder if maybe there's a book coming down the pipeline that might be like Mechanicus versus Dark Mech. That would be awesome.
Yeah, there might be some Dark Mech coming for Horus Heresy 28.
Like full size.
Well, that's what I thought we would get this week, because I mean, when they were doing the consoles and they were kind of alternating Loyalist Heresy, I therefore, when we saw this Qatari dude last week, I was fully expecting the next one was going to be a Dark
Spider-Man villain.
I was equally happy that this one turned up. This is a gorgeous model, but yeah, I'm kind of now hoping that we're going to get like a Dark Mech version at some point.
We had some little Dark Mech bits, didn't we, in the Imperialis?
Yeah, that's it. Well, they've done them from Imperialis now, so we have an idea about what some of the Dark Mechanicus models could look like. Maybe now the next thing is that we'll get to see them in Horus Heresy scale.
You could make some really cool Dark.
Well, they were saying, weren't they, the book with the Dark Mech in it? Look at the book cover. The detail of the miniature on the front is way too detailed. It's not a picture of the epic scale Dark Mech. Cerberus is a full size one.
But I mean, having a model that's specific rules is to hunt down Dark Mechanicus.
Yeah, I know, that's what
does heavily suggest that we're going to be getting some Dark Mechanicus models.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me at all. That'd be cool to see, can't lie. And I do still have on my cards, obviously, I want to get into a Horus Heresy army this year. So, if Dark Mechanicum were to drop, who knows? Yes. That'd be very cool. However, next one that I've got up that was, I think, just end of last week, but we have the new Warhammer
yeah.
event miniatures revealed.
These are really
very cool. New Skaven Claw Lord mini.
Yeah, he's really nice. I like the little rat perched on his shoulder.
Indeed.
Yeah.
I mean, technically, that means that the rat is actually the Claw Lord and the rest of it is just a mount.
Yeah, true. He'd make a very cool seafaring Skaven as well, like a captain of a Skaven pirate ship.
That's a good point, actually. Yeah.
I thought Eshin, I mean, with the fighting knives kind of hand, I looked at that and I thought, well, he'd be really cool, like a Clan Eshin character.
What's he called?
Yeah, he's got 2 giant knives on his shoulders as well, hasn't he?
There was the Underworlds model that the leader of that S something his name was, but he was
Claw Pack.
That was it, I think. Sorry, that was the Eshin themed one, wasn't it? The assassins. That's what it reminds me of with that, the claws. The 2-pronged Wolverine claw. But no, I mean, I haven't got any standard Claw Lord models, so I mean, if I pick up the standard one and this guy, I've got a couple of different ones to put into both Old World and...
He's the shredder of the Skaven world, isn't he?
Yeah. He has actually got a name, sorry. Claw Lord Ketek Throatbite. Ooh. So there you go. And then you have the a new Primus model.
Yeah. Well, this is, I think, the first separate Primus model they've done since the one that was originally released with Deathwatch Overkill.
Yeah.
So he's a really nice kind of alternative Primus. And it's interesting that we've had now this model coming up as the event model, and the anniversary model was the Gene Stealer. It does seem to hint at something going on. Either that or they just knew that I was doing Gene Stealer Cult as my army this year and went, oh, well, we'll just give Ben this.
I'll tell you what, if we do get a new Space Hulk this year. Oh.
Yeah, this one comes in an alternative head as well with, it's got like a mask on, a Bane-style mask.
Yeah. I think you just show it on the article
for some reason, but you can see it on, the picture that they posted on Instagram and Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
It's on there.
Yeah, like socials. Fair
yeah.
enough. Do you reckon you'll pick this one up, Ben? Because I know you're doing your Gene Stealer Cult army.
Absolutely. If I can get to an event and pick him up, I definitely would like. I've got the existing one, but I think this one is a much nicer model. It's just the more dynamic pose than the one that they did for Deathwatch Overkill.
Yeah, so I mean the event model exclusive models aren't always must picks ups, but I think I definitely there's a couple there that people will be after. So that's nice. However, we move into Old World, and it's Mechanicum coming in.
I mean, it makes sense for this, especially with the Lothern Seaguard list that they've announced is going to be in the Arcane Journal.
They hinted at it as well, didn't they?
It is. This is one of my least favorite models from back when they did the Monstrous Arcanum stuff. It's just, yes, it's a thing.
I don't mind it. I think it's quite cool. It's different.
The split in its head at the front's very creepy, man. Very creepy.
When you look at the Lothern Seaguard shields and you've got this, sinuous sea serpenty dragon rising out of the waves, it's like this is the reality of what the here are the Lothern Seaguard with merworms on their shields, and here's the reality, and it looks like
my only criticism is it's not very wormy.
No, it's like
they never are though, are they? These things they're called something, and you're like, that doesn't look like how it's named, really.
No,
very strange. But no, I'm sure it'll be fun to play on the tabletop though, and obviously it's with all this new water.
Scroll down again as well. I noticed something interesting. That picture of that ship there, that elven boat, that's the Sea Drake from Dreadfleet. Just get it.
Is it?
Yeah.
The picture. Yes, the artwork.
If it's not the Sea Drake, it's a very, very similar drawing.
No, I think it's entirely possible that artwork, because it's got the 2 dragons as well, and the Sea Drake had 2 dragons model on it, so it's equally possible they've just taken the art from Dreadfleet and decided to use it here. That'd be quite cool.
Oh, nice.
Hang on,
nice.
I'll tell you.
Shout to Dreadfleet.
He's checking the book.
Well, you can't.
I'm not saying I have the.
Suppose you can't not nod to Dreadfleet when you're.
I think you're going to check the artwork. Yeah, that's it. It's exactly the same.
It's the Sea Drake. It's definitely the Sea Drake.
I'd be interested to see as well if anybody kind of does any crossover stuff with like the Ideneth bits as well, because you got those kits now as well, and you've got these mixed in as well. Will people be able to do a bit of crossover on the basin and things? And it could be quite cool.
It could be cool. I mean, to be honest, you could probably convert a nicer Merworm miniature out of some of the Ideneth kits.
Yeah.
If we're being honest.
Yeah. So there's all that there for people to pick from as well. There you go. Definitely from Dreadfleet. But I think that is it for the reveals. The only other thing I thought have you guys watched the Astartes 2 teaser trailer yet?
I haven't yet. No.
You haven't, Ben. Well, it just so happens I have it here for you to have a little browser. I can't put the music on because we'll get the video taken down.
The YouTube police.
But whilst we're having a little chat about it, because me and Si have watched it already, I'll just put it on in the background whilst we have a chat about it. But I haven't watched the first one in a while, so I can't exactly remember the first one particularly well. But they said this is due in 2026, so it's still a way away. But it looks pretty awesome, I can't lie. It looks like you got a mix of different chapters going on in it. So I'd be very excited to kind of see what's...
Yeah, I'm pretty certain what the theme is when you look at it all. I'm not going to spoil it for Ben. We'll talk about it when he's watched it.
There's a load of different kind of adversaries in it, though, which just looks awesome. You got the orcs
there. Yeah. Sides.
I mean, just the animation's way higher level, of course, than like other stuff that we see regularly on Warhammer Plus. You got Tower.
Sons of Medusa.
Pretty awesome. I think, Ben, you're muted for some reason, dude. Oh, there you go.
Sorry. I said that's really good quality
animation. Who's that there, Si? The orange and
Sides of the Emperor. And then Mortifactors again.
Okay. Oh, I was going to say, is it because Sides of the Emperor is supposed to be yellow and black, and that was orange and black?
I think it's just the way it was filtered or the way it looks. But then
maybe
the Deathwatch Terminator at the end there. So what I think this is, and what a lot of people are saying is, these are snippets of these Marines' former lives before they were
before they joined the Deathwatch.
Right. Okay, that's pretty sweet. Okay, I like that idea, to be fair. But I mean, it looks very cool, very high animation level, and we'll look forward to whenever that does eventually drop. 2026, they're saying, so away.
I've got a theory regarding this. So I reckon there's going to be several episodes. Each episode, it'll be telling the story of this Deathwatch squad, but each episode will have a flashback from one of those particular Marines. So one of them will be the Mortifactors guy, and it'll be a flashback to his battles. One of them will be Sons of Medusa. One of them will be Sides of the Emperor. One of them was... Now, they say Blood Angels, but I don't think it was Blood Angels because it had the skull in the blood drop. So that's Angels... is it Angels Vermilion?
Yeah, I think it's Angels Vermilion.
Okay.
I can't remember which one it is, but the one with the little skull in the bottom of the blood drop. I think that's what that chapter was. And then I can't remember the last one. And then obviously there's a Reclamator. Is it not Reclamator? It is Reclamators, isn't it, from the Astartes?
Well, the Reclaimer. Hang on, do you mean the?
No,
the Sides of the Emperor for definite.
The guy who made Astartes, his own chapter with the skull, you know, the hand around the skull. Are they the Reclamators? Is that what they're called?
Oh, I don't know.
Can't remember.
That's definitely Sons of Medusa.
Hang on, I'll tell you.
That does look like a Blood Angel.
Yeah, but when you go a bit further,
there's the pictures there as well.
Yeah, you go a bit further into the video where it shows his left shoulder pauldron and the symbol on the shoulder pauldron. If you have a look,
but that momentary glimpse as he shoots past in the.
So there's the suns again. I like that Predator speeding along.
There's going to be some awesome imagery in this, not just from the Space Marines either, which is always pretty inspiring. That's sick. I love the cape. The cape swish. Awesome.
I may have to steal that graffiti from the background because that's really cool. Actually, when it says on the wall, "The Emperor forgets."
You've gone too far.
That's a really nice perversion of kind of the Emperor protects motto. I may have to paint that on the side of one of the walls in my underhive. Then the judges and the Redemption can get properly outraged about it.
That would be pretty awesome, to be fair.
Retributors.
Sorry, Retributors. Okay.
Right. Okay.
That's it.
But yes, no, there's going to be a good mix in there, and I will be excited for that one whenever it eventually comes. But I thought we'd have a quick little look at it, especially if you hadn't seen it, Ben. That's cool. That you
I'm gonna have to watch that with the sound on after we've done here. So I can
I mean, it's literally just like cool music to it. There's no like voiceover.
Put it on big telly.
That'd look cool on there.
Yeah.
But yes, so I think that is it really for kind of reactions and the latest sort of news to have a little look at, guys.
I feel like I'm missing something.
Yeah, if you can think of something, we can bring it in as well at some point here, but we can interweave it with the questions if you want, if you think of anything else. But we do have a lot of community questions that we can get into this week. What we'll do, we'll start off with a couple that I've pulled from Reddit, because there's one that we can definitely delve deeper into, I think, which I will start with, actually, so we can spend a bit more time on it. And that is, and I'm sure we'll talk about this one again as we get closer to it, probably again 2026, and that's I Love Catlin sends in hopes and dreams for the 11th edition launch box. So obviously we're talking Warhammer 40k.
Cannot believe we're already talking about 11th edition.
Yeah, well, people are always going to get excited about 40k, aren't they? But I mean, you can either go into detail about what you'd like to see in the set, sort of new things you'd like to see in the set. Obviously, we're going to end up seeing Space Marines in it again, I would imagine.
I've got to.
But that is also, I should put up there, that is Isle of Catlin's example of what they'd love to... Wish list, yeah, is probably the best way to put it, of what they'd like to see in it. So for people who are listening on Spotify, they've put sort of a Space Marine side of the box and a Dark Eldar side.
Ooh,
I'm not going to go into full detail. But yeah. Sorry, go on. You said even before we started you had a big kind of guess as to what you think we might see. So what do you want to kind of...
Well, this goes back to my Armageddon theory. I mean, you can sort of shoe it in that it's going to be Space Marines in the launch box because they sell, don't they? They're the poster boys. So I think it's going to be Space Marines.
Boxes have had Space Marines in them.
Space Marines versus Orcs, I think it's going to be. And it's going to be on the tail end of this Armageddon campaign or whatever. I'll start with the Orcs. So we need a new Dreadnought.
Mm-hmm.
We're long overdue a new Orc Dread. Although I will say the current kit is still brilliant. Killer Cans is a possibility. My other one was Orc Knobs. That could be due a new kit. Because forgive me if I mean I may be wrong, but we've had new boys, we've had Beast Snagger boys.
We have new knobs, for the latest kill team.
No, the knobs now look a little small when you put them next to something like the Beast Snagger boys, for example. So exactly. They could, especially with some of the newer, like the Tank Busters and stuff that
was that the kill team, wasn't it?
Yeah, the kill team box.
I think we get
hammers and stuff. They are bigger and slightly beefier than the current knobs kit.
New knobs. Maybe they'll have Mechanicum, or maybe they'll just be like big, honking, chonking, massive Orc knobs. Maybe new war tracks or something like that. But my other thing is, and I've said this before, Orcs need a screening unit. Now, Gretchen back in the day used to be able to field, well, let's use second edition box set as an example, 40 Gretchen with auto guns. Then they changed them, didn't they, to just like a little unit with a runt herd, whipping them about, and they just like poxy little things with a little auto pistol. They weren't. Like
Don't underestimate the mighty Grot Blaster. The Grot Blaster, I brought down like Stormfangs and stuff with those.
I would like to see a 20-strong mob of Gretchen with auto guns or some other style weapon and be an actual viable screening unit. So that could be an option for Orcs as well. And if not war tracks, maybe some other daft vehicle, maybe something crazy like a bubble chucker or something like that.
Some of the variants of Gretchen would be quite cool because, I mean, you've got all kinds of different kinds of Orc units now, but Grots are now just reduced to, they're just a unit of Grots. And Grots fill a much wider kind of space within the Orc ethos. So maybe, some kind of alternative take on Grots. That would be quite cool.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be anything too out there, like new freebooters. But knobs, for sure, definitely need
the freebooter kit is awesome anyway.
Yeah, but again, they're a bit small. That's the problem.
Well, when they're on the big round bases, though, they've got the kind of the width to them, even if they don't have the height necessarily.
Yeah, I think that width makes them look a bit stunty now against the
looters. We could definitely do some new looters. Looters look stunty compared to the other Orcs that are out there now. Looters and Burn Boy kit.
So Dreadnought, that's a possibility. And for Space Marines, some of it actually matches what's on here. So Assault Terminators, we're definitely going to get them at some point, but it could be a new Space Loot box, you never know. Cool. I think the keyword Primaris is going to go. I think that's gone. That they're just going to be Space Marines in the next edition, I think. So we might get a new tactical squad. I think they put on there true scale tactical veterans, it says. I think we might get a new tactical squad. So you can take a heavy weapon and a special weapon in your squad again. Vanguard veterans is definitely a good idea. My other thought was perhaps an assault bike to match the Outriders.
Well, they've got the quad bike, don't they? Which they
Well,
pushed
yeah, they've got
in
the
replacement
the
assault
Mario
bike.
Kart bike, but they could still do maybe an assault bike. And then the other option is
The attack
some sort
bike
of
is
one.
the attack bike carries very much the same weapons that the Mario Kart bike does, though it carries a
Yeah, I suppose
multi-melter
it
or a
does,
multi-shot
actually,
gun. So I can't see you getting a new attack bike, unfortunately.
Yeah, what is it?
As much as it would be
ATV.
cool.
Well, Invader
Yeah.
ATV, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then a new captain / lieutenant / insert any other commander type Space Marine miniature in here.
So they've put Vanguard captain. Isn't that just basically the captain with jump pack model that we got recently?
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that. I think it's going to be some fancy commander or captain or something like that. Tell you what would be good, a generic chapter master model.
Do we have a chaplain with jump pack modelled in primary scale at the moment?
Not that I'm aware of.
That would fit. Vanguard veterans and a chaplain with jump pack.
Well, that would fit with the Primaris Vanguard vets that they've said about with jump packs. Yeah, I could see that sort of stuff. As always, there's always the possibility of just something unexpected as well, like a brand new vehicle, stuff we don't know of at all.
A Land Raider, but on hoverbike mode.
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, have we really had like a hover version of the Land Raider yet? We haven't really, have we, to that degree.
Haven't.
So,
or you could get some sort of Primaris version of a Vindicator or something like that.
That would be cool. I mean, a Land Raider does fit nicely with like the Assault Terminators, though, and it would fit this type of starter army set. I'm not sure that you'll get a big tank or something in there. I've got to be honest.
No, I don't think so.
I agree with Si, though. It's both what I'd like to see and what I think could end up seeing is Orcs as the other half of it. And
they've not been in a starter box for a while. I think the last time the Orcs were in the starter box was the Battle.
It's not going to be Nids.
Black Ridge.
It's going to be
Black Ridge. Yeah.
I think a lot of things add up to it,
which
though,
is
as
5th
well,
edition.
Which ironically had new knobs in it. Push fit knobs.
So both
gyrocopters.
Both Necrons and Tyranids we've had in the last two. Then this year is Chaos year, so I can't see us really getting that much Chaos at all after this year. So it's unlikely you're going to see that Chaos maybe in the other side of the box, the new launch box.
No, surprise other half, the Tau.
Yeah, that would be the only other thing. Well, Tau have technically had their update recently, haven't they?
They have, but they've never been in a starter box.
Oh no, yeah, and I don't think we will see it. But
Dark Eldar have had a
Ben,
3rd edition.
More Kroot, yes, but Kroot Space Marine launch box for 11th edition. Cool. Let's go.
No, realistically, the Crisis suits could do with another update. The Crisis suit kit is starting to look a little dated. I've never been happy with the stealth suit kit that they used. The stealth suit that they released when they first released Tau is 10 times better.
XV-15 stealth armor is mega. XV-25 stealth armor is a cream egg with legs.
It doesn't look stealthy. I mean, my biggest complaint about the XV-25 is it has the word stealth in the title, and it looks about as stealthy as a cream egg rolling down a hill.
Yeah. I get that they can like cloak the cells and this, that. No. It's just...
new Crisis suits. Maybe an updated Fire Warrior kit, because again, the Fire Warrior kit we've got is pretty dated.
It's a nice kit though. I mean, you can still make the two different squads, can't you?
You can, but again, it dates back to what, 8th edition now? No, you've got earlier than that, 7th edition. 7th edition.
It is 7th, yeah.
So it is over 10 years old by this point, I think. So
they came out when we had the weekly White Dwarf, because I remember buying that issue, and then the week after, because we had the Tide Wall, gun rig, and all the Tau terrain.
I would really like to see actually a Tau starter box, just because the cat's trying to get in on the action again. Just because Dark Eldar have had a turn, they're in the 3rd edition starter box. Orcs are in the 2nd and 5th edition starter boxes. Chaos was in the 6th and 7th edition starter boxes. Nids were in the 3rd, 8th, and 9th edition starter boxes. Necrons were in the 8th edition starter box. Let's give one of the other armies a chance. Let's give Tau a chance. And I think a Tau versus Marine starter box.
The 10th was the last one, Leviathan.
Oh, God, was it 10th? Okay, so what the hell
was 9th. We're
Necrons
losing
was
track
9th.
because we're getting them every 3 years now.
What was
Death
8th
Guard
then?
was 8. Yeah.
4
Death
years.
Guard. So yeah, so Chaos had 6th, 7th, and 8th then.
Yeah,
Chaos
because
have
7th
definitely
was
had
Dark
better.
Vengeance, wasn't it? It was
Yeah. And 6th was also Dark Vengeance. Just 7th was the repackage of Dark Vengeance.
I mean, if we hadn't have had Emperors so early, I would have said that Emperors were a possibility for it, but obviously we've had them now. So
I also can't
really
see Emperor's
it being
Children as a
Chaos.
starter box army, if I'm honest.
No.
Imagine
No,
you're
I
trying
mean-
to sell a starting 40k army to little Johnny's mum, and this box
We say
set
that, but
has Space
Death
Marine.
Guard were there, weren't they?
Death Guard is easily done. These guys are gross mutants. If I was putting my store staff hat on, if I'm trying to sell, a starter box at Christmas to Johnny's aunt Mildred, who's just come in because Johnny really likes Space Marines, and I'm like, yeah, this box here, it's got loads of noble space knights in space armor versus a whole bunch of mutant, twisted, diseased monster men. I can easily sell that to her, and I can pitch that at a level that is going to fit pretty much any audience. Tyranids, no problem. Giant monster bugs slathering the alien xenomorphs. Easily fits. Necrons, ancient Terminator-style Egyptian robots. I can fit it in. And this box here, this is the Noble Space Knights versus these guys. No, I'm not even going to try. Look, this is Age of Sigmar. Can I introduce you to Age of Sigmar? I just wouldn't even try and introduce Emperor's Children in a starter box. Nothing against the Emperor's Children army. It is not starter worthy. Whereas if you go, do you like giant robot suits? Does he like like Gundam Wing and anime and all this? Yeah, look, okay, the giant robot fighting suits jetting around the place. If nothing else, it would give the Marines the chance to be the bad guys for once in a starter set. That would be quite cool.
For the greater good.
Yeah, for the greater good, Dad. Plus, we've got the whole kind of fifth sphere expansion storyline that's going on. Tau have actually been playing a fairly major part in the narrative recently. I mean, I can genuinely say, I think my wish list now, thinking about it, would be a Tau versus Marines starter box.
You've actually just reminded me of something that because I think they just announced the new campaign book.
You
well
watch Images to Occults now versus Space Marines.
What's the new campaign book?
I have no idea because I can't remember, but I'll look it up whilst we're doing the next question, maybe. Because I swear I've seen an article on it the last number of days.
Traitor Guard would be a good one.
New one.
Traitor Guard would be awesome. I mean, I would instantly buy a Traitor Guard army, but the problem I think you'd have is that you'd have either have to put tons of infantry in there and some tanks, and it doesn't feel like starter box fitting.
No,
I mean,
it's not.
Look at the stuff that you've had in the preceding 3 starter boxes. It's light on vehicles. I mean, you're talking things like a Dreadnought in one of them and the Necron Reanimator thing in one of them. Otherwise, vehicles don't tend to make it into starter boxes.
I'd give the same argument, though, as well for Dark Eldar likely not appearing in a starter set then in terms of trying to sell it. Because surely Dark Eldar are as hard to sell in that respect.
Well, and also, again, you pack it out with Cableites, Witches, Grotesques. I don't think those are models that you necessarily want to be building as a first one. They're fiddly. You don't want to be building fiddly, big, chunky, boxy robot suits.
I mean, I do, but kids and stuff won't know. But no, I agree. I think Orcs is a very good shout for this.
Orcs would be a very good shout as well.
Yeah. But we shall move on. Elk Aggravating 2632 from Reddit as well. We've answered this one a few times really, but which Warhammer audiobook or Audible should I listen to whilst painting? I'm new to the lore. I think they just mean Warhammer in general. So any suggestions, guys, for new ones? As always for me, just the usual really. I'm still listening through them myself. Whatchamacallit from Old World and Age of Sigmar, Gotrek and Felix series saga. Always a good one, just to get you into the lore for Warhammer in general, for the fantasy side of things.
Best Audible books I've listened to recently was Bad Loon Rising by my friend Andy Clark. It's a really good kind of Age of Sigmar one, but you don't have to know much about the lore, because it tells the story kind of from both sides of the equations. You get kind of the goblin point of view, and you also get the kind of noble warriors of Azir point of view, who aren't as noble as they seem to be, and the goblins aren't as wicked as they seem to be. So actually, it's a really kind of well-rounded story, and it's got some stonking characters. I really enjoy. That's probably my most the most enjoyable listen that I've had in the last 12 months, I think, in terms of kind of picking stuff up from Audible. Yeah, it's really, and the voice acting on it is really, really good as well. Like the guy who reads it has got a really kind of fun range of different voices he does for all the different kind of.
Didn't come out with a Brummy accent, did he, for the orcs?
No, there's no Brummy. You right, orcs? God, I'm still scarred from listening to Captain Badrock from the Black Country. No, in terms of.
He didn't nearly sneeze then, but he nearly choked.
No, we nearly killed Luke though.
It's because I live just outside the Black Country, so it still cracks me up.
Hungry I am.
Yeah.
But no, in terms of like, if you're going to do goblin-y voices, there is a tendency to just slip into kind of sneery nasal voice. But he doesn't fall into that trap. He has loads of different kind of voices he does for all the different kind of goblin characters, and there are quite a lot of goblin characters who feature in it. Kind of, a whole Gobapalooza that turns up.
That's great. Perfect audiobook. That is perfect audiobook listening when you got all the fun voices. That's exactly. One of the reasons why I do like Gotrek and Felix though, because the guy who does the voice of Gotrek is amazing.
Yes. No, he's bang on.
Would you have any suggestions, Si, or not so much?
Well, aside from what you just mentioned, if you're looking at Horus Heresy, if you wanted to listen to something from that, I'd say No Fear would be an excellent book to listen to, because the way the story's set around that countdown and the way it works up until what happens. Like giving it away, that's probably going to be an excellent listen. I haven't actually listened to it. I've only ever read the physical book many times, but I might have to listen to it actually now that I've just said that, because I bet it'd lend itself well to an audio book. Ragnar Goes to Hogwarts,
for sure.
aka Space Wolf. That's probably an excellent read, audio book, to be honest. It's still one of my favorites.
I haven't listened to that one on Audible just because it is so glaringly Ragnar Goes to Hogwarts. The Caiaphas Cain ones are very well read, though. Absolutely,
yeah. I've not mentioned them because I thought you were going to mention them, to be honest.
Well, I'm going to put my one pet peeve in, which is if you get as far as the third book in the Caiaphas Cain series, there is an inset which counts as a kind of a space battle, kind of Battlefleet Gothic style, and it drives me up the wall that the guy who reads it pronounces the name of the Imperial Admiral that is leading the Imperial fleet as Bugler, Bugler. Literally, it's supposed to be bugler because it's a hornblower joke, and he doesn't get it. So when he's reading it, he reads it as Bugler, and I'm just literally.
It's like keeping up appearances, isn't it? Isaac Bucket.
It's pronounced Bugler. Actually,
Lady of the Hall speaking.
It's a good job I wasn't driving my car when I was listening to that. I'd have crashed the car. To be honest, it just annoyed me so much.
Gaunt's Ghost, easy suggestion to make. And then the other one would be an older book, Angels of Darkness, because it's just a better.
I've not had an audiobook.
Sorry if you can hear any banging as well. My dog is upstairs and deciding to go nuts. I don't know what she's doing.
Yes, but I mean, if you can find some of those on audiobook, go look for them.
You might struggle with one that's Magma Goes to Hogwarts, but I'm sure it's out there.
Yeah, I'm sure. I think most of them have audiobooks nowadays, to be fair.
Yeah, the Night Lords trilogy as well.
Night Lords trilogy.
Yeah, excellent audiobooks.
So, how have you been? It's just such a good line, and it's so well delivered.
The only other one that just popped into my head, actually, that I did listen to a couple of years back, the Blackstone Fortress story that they did alongside it.
Oh, yeah?
All right.
The audiobook for that was really actually quite good. And if you want like if you're introductory as well to the world of Warhammer 40k, there's so many different races involved in Blackstone, the story, so it's a good one. It's a good bit of a primer.
Where is it?
And Si is on to something here.
He's fishing for something.
He's fishing for something. He's fishing for my sneezes.
Yeah, we've made it over an hour at this point. You still haven't sneezed.
I think it's because I've been coughing so much.
The cold.
I don't know if you can get it as an audio book.
I don't know if they did it as an audio book.
But that'd be interesting, because I wonder if there's like loads of pirate style voices in it.
No, but I'll tell you what you may have made me just think of is Phil Kelly's Farsight novels are really, really good, and I've read those in book form, in paperback form, but I haven't tried to see if they're available on Audible. So that might be something else I check, because he does a really good line in Tau novels.
Cool. But yeah, that'd be a good one to look up. I'll have to look up that myself. So
I don't think I was a Dreadfleet fan.
Actually, that was one question. How goes the painting of the fleet?
There's lots of blue at the minute in my
Because you've got a range of videos coming, haven't you, on how to paint your Dreadfleet?
Yeah, I'm doing the first one about the bases at the minute. I've got 3 to go, so I'm just gonna use a few different ones in the video. I'm about halfway through it, yeah, so that should be out in the next week or so.
Cool.
I've never played Dreadfleet. I would like to.
It is good.
It is an excellent game.
Looks cool. Looks fun. Shall we move on, I suppose, to the
Yeah,
next one?
let's-
You've had a
yeah,
lot
move
of
on.
suggestions there, though, so it's more than enough to get you started with. We've got 2. We're moving over to our Discord channel now, guys. For the rest, if you want to send in your own questions, get involved in the chat over there. Like I say, links in the description below. Join us on our Discord. We have lots of awesome people over there, some of which have sent us in questions over the last month or so. 2 of them are very similar, so I'm going to combine them here. Gigasius says, your miniature holy grails, as in the miniatures that you really, really want, old or new, but that are exceedingly difficult to find nowadays. And then I'm combining this with Charax, who says favourite out-of-print minis that you've never owned yourself. So, very similar kind of questions. I mean, my answer's usually the same with this, and that's the Dreadsaurian for Seraphon, which is also now out of print. And sadly, I probably wouldn't want it as much anymore because you can't actually get rules for it now. It's sad. Like a lot of the old 40k stuff, they've kept doing Legends rules for, but not for Sigmar. Which is sad, but hopefully they will at some point, and then I'll be on to it again. Once again, my aspirations for the Dreadsaurian will continue. But it's some sort of probably big out-of-print Forge World model. The old Squigoth model's awesome as well. I always wanted one of them for the Orcs. I don't know if there's still rules for that or not. Probably.
I think there's Legends rules for it, the giant Squigoth.
Yeah, so, hey, if we get 11th edition Orc box set, with the Space Marines and it comes true, that'll become my new aspiration to get Squigoth to add to a massive Orc army. So there you go. I don't know who wants to go next on that one, but that was mine off the top.
So mine is a bit of an oddball. I'm fairly fortunate that in terms of a lot of my miniature Holy Grails I've been able to pick up over the years, especially when I kind of got back into Warhammer Fantasy and started hunting down and tracking down kind of old out-of-print metal models and stuff. One model that is really quite hard to get, and one that I've got a lot of admiration for in terms of just what went into making it, it's the plastic Warhammer Siege Tower. So this was released when they re-released Warhammer Siege back in 5th edition Fantasy. And they released...
pick it up now.
He's going to go, I've got one here, says he.
I had to fix the flag on my Doom wheel, it came off. So that was like literally here, it snapped. Sorry for people who are listening, but it's the most awkward snap, so I just had to glue it. It's glued, so sorry, Ben, carry on.
No, that's all right. Yeah, so the plastic Siege Tower, they released it when they re-released Warhammer Siege in 5th edition Fantasy, and then it was around for ages, and it was one of those things that, because I played a whole bunch of Siege games back in 5th edition, but I never got round to getting the Siege Tower, and it's one of those things that now is just rarer than hen's teeth in terms of tracking one down. What made it especially cool, though, was the way it was designed was that when you built this kind of the plastic tower, part of the instructions was you needed to get some either thin string or thread, and you ran that up through the interior of the tower as you were making it, tied it onto the little ramp that was at the top, and then wound it around a little kind of bobbin style winch at the bottom of the tower. That's it. So on the outside of the tower, you could turn the little winch, and the little drawbridge at the top would lower to allow models that were inside the top of the tower to then come out. And it was a really cool piece of kit, and I never managed to get one. I mean, it's not like I'm planning on playing any Siege games anytime soon, but in terms of Warhammer kind of holy grails that are out of prediction that I would like to lay my hands on just for the sheer glory of kind of the old school Warhammer plastic for its time, amazing engineering, that is fairly high up there for me.
It's a good shout because there's some really great out-of-print terrain from the past that would be great to get the hands on. To be fair, but yeah. Si, any ideas?
Well, this we've covered this before, haven't we? There is quite a few. Who you got, sorry?
I said Dreadfleet just in it as a whole.
I nearly ended up with the second copy of it the other day. Yeah, no, I still watch it on eBay. I would love to get a complete Man of War with Plague Fleet and Sea of Blood. We've talked about that before, but I'm not made of money, so I can't. Grom the Paunch is always one I've always wanted. I just love it. It's brilliant. And it was one of the first White Dwarf I ever had, it was one of the first things I ever saw when I opened up the pages and the advert for Grom the Paunch was there, and I thought, yes, this is the hobby for me. So that's one of them. I have, like Ben, managed to track down a couple of old metal minis that I've always wanted now that I'm older. And then another one, it's not really that hard to get hold of, but an Orc Mega Gargant from Titan Legions. I'm not bothered about your Emperor class Titan. The Mega Gargant was just
with all the
insane.
extra kind of gantry crane-like arms.
Yeah, the crane, the lift, the dropper
and
arms,
all the different
like
guns.
that. Yeah, and the turrets, like it was just mega. Absolutely,
it was a cool model.
Miniature. So I'd love a Mega Gargant to paint up one day and just have on the shelf.
Cool.
I'm sure there's plenty more we could all reel off, but
you just made me think, Si. Like one thing, it was the other night. I was just randomly thinking about it. I'd love to make some mini dioramas of like the video game characters from Warhammer. So obviously you got the new Titus model. I'd love to make like a little mini diorama of him with Tyranids or whatever surrounding him. But also, it popped up in 20 Questions last year. There's the Tau leader guy, but you can get the actual old metal figurine of him. I don't think he's that hard to get hold of. Yeah, I can't remember his actual name, but something like that. Yeah.
Well, the one with the double-ended honor blade.
Possibly, yeah. It's like,
he's on about the main Fire Warrior from the game.
Yeah, you know, from the video game Fire Warrior, Tau Fire Warrior.
Oh, Kais.
Yes, that's it. That's Kais. Yeah. You can still get his old metal mini. So it'd be cool to make like a little metal, because obviously there's the famous picture, isn't there, from the front cover of the game?
He's not skulls.
Yeah. So it'd be cool to do something like that. I like to make a few of the dioramas of them. That'd be pretty cool.
You know what would be a good diorama? The opening, the trailer from Dawn of War where he runs up the hill, plants the banner against the orcs, and like the blood elves going through the banner. You got the Dreadnought as well.
The made up.
Actually, that would be a really good kind of anniversary miniature, wouldn't it? You could do kind of the Blood Raven character staking the banner through the orc.
I wonder if they ever did a mini for him. I don't know if they did. I wonder if they ever did.
No, I don't believe so.
No, they did Gabriel Angelos, didn't they? The Forge World did a mini.
See, this is the thing that I do research though for.
No,
like when we did 20 Questions, and I'd find out that there was actually a mini. Nobody knew that there was, like a limited one or something.
Yeah, because Gabriel Angelos even had rules in 7th edition.
Yeah, no, he did. Yeah, he didn't look anything like him, but yeah, he had rules.
Yeah, but no, very cool. A few things that we've suggested there, but that's answered 2 of them combined anyway. I think you guys partially answered this one last time, but you kind of saved it for me as well. Ep.38 is asking how our Blood Bowl teams are coming along for our Stunty League. We've kind of touched on that anyway. And we've
added a second treatment.
Yeah, we
I don't need anything else.
Literally touched on that, didn't we, in the hobby segment? So, like mine are still just built, and that's it. So, but whenever we come to lay down a date to actually do this thing, I'll probably just paint it all up in a week or 2. So, because they're only small little minis.
Paint them green and then add some bits.
Yeah, basically, yeah, and whatever theme I want to go for. Then we have
the name as well.
Yeah, I do actually. Yeah, I was going to do mine like an Irish theme because they're green, obviously.
You rattled it off.
You were going to do the beer kegs, weren't you, for the snotty
I was going to try and put some sort of like Guinness type thing on the barrels. It'd be quite funny, but we'll see how we go with that. I'll come up with a way of doing it. And then the last one I think that we've got on the Discord, if I haven't missed anything, Point to Paints, our friend Rick sends in one. Your favourite new Old World mini that's come out so far since Old World came out, I assume he means. For me, it'd be a lot of people don't like it, but I just love the new Bone Dragon for the Tomb Kings. I know a lot of people weren't keen on it.
It's a belting miniature.
I loved it. Great new centerpiece model for the Tomb Kings, as if they didn't have enough anyway, but just awesome. So yeah, that'd be mine.
For me, it's probably still Ungrim Iron Fist for me.
Yeah, I think for me it's probably Ungrim Iron Fist as well. I mean, there have been some very, very nice models, but he's just a step above.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's top tier. That is. I mean, I do like that new High Elf Lord, the Lion Lord.
Yeah, he's cool.
That's a really nice miniature, but Ungrim, between the 2 of them, Ungrim would beat that. But that High Elf Lord is pretty awesome.
We've had some nice new character models for sure. So we've had lots to enjoy. But yeah, I suppose those would be our answers, Rick, there for that one. But I think we've come to the end of our questions, guys, for this episode. And we'll try and group some more together, guys, and answer them in the next episode. It always just depends how much news we have, really, and then we just answer more or less.
We need to try and fit 20 questions in as well.
Yeah, it's up to you guys as well, whether you want to carry on doing that or we can just think up of different other games. But we'll see what people want, I guess, that are listening as well, whether they want to...
Let us know in the comments whether you want to see us finally lose one. We break our undefeated streak.
Yeah, so we'll see how we go with that, and let us know if you want to see that come back, guys. But I mean, we've had so much going on anyway in the last few weeks. I've kind of left it anyway and see if people say that they want it back or not. I just kind of left it down to a natural thing, but yeah, we'll see how we go with that one, guys. But thanks as always for listening. Make sure to, of course, subscribe to us if you're watching us here on YouTube. Follow on Spotify if you're listening to us, and of course make sure you're jumping into our Discord channel, guys, and get chatting to us there, because we love to see you all over there for a good chat, and send in your questions for the podcasts. But before we go, Si, you're at the top this week. Where can people find you, and what are you up to on your channel?
Yeah, you can find me on my own channel, which is at Hobby Waffle, and it's the same username for Blue Sky, Instagram, and I'm on Facebook as well. Last two videos I've done with finally. Took an hour and 17 minutes, but we got there in the end. Luke's just sneezed his bollocks off, if anyone's wondering what that noise was.
That was amazing.
You feel better now?
Yeah. I still sound like crap, but there we go.
You heard that 3 streets away.
Sorry. Was that worth the wait?
Last 2 videos I've done were retro read-throughs. So I did White Dwarf 185. Then I've just done White Dwarf 173, which is an absolutely cracking episode for Undead Minis. And it had the new, well, not the new Phoenix Lords. The old Phoenix Lords came out in May 1994, which were new at the time. So it's quite a good timing considering the new plastic ones are coming this weekend. They're not the most popular videos, I know that, but I don't care. They're just good fun to go down memory lane. So yeah, it's great fun. Unfortunately, there was no old world map with this White Dwarf 173, but watch this space is all I'll say.
Awesome. It's on my list to watch Si when I'm doing my hobbying this week, so that'll be a good watch. So go and check that out, guys. Ben, what about yourself?
You can find me over on my channel and on Blue Sky, Instagram with the same handle everywhere. It's 90% Geek, just like it says on the screen there. I am hoping to get my Empire Arcane Journal review done. I've been debating about what element to do as their unique feature. You know, it was like for dwarves, it was beards. For chaos, it was their similarity to Conan the Barbarian. So you'll have to tune into the video to find out what I have picked as the defining characteristic of the Empire in order to assess those.
Was that out this weekend, just gone?
No, that's not come out yet. It's coming.
Ooh, I see.
Sounds
good, though. But yeah, until next time, guys, in a couple of weeks' time for the next episode. As always, happy wargaming, guys. Stay safe. See you later.
Bye.
Bye, Pippin, the cat, as well.
Gesundheit.
Yeah.